All right, says we're live. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you're having a good one. Happy New Year. The last one was before New Year's. We had goals and stuff like that, but it's officially 2023. So Happy New Year. Welcome to it. Hopefully you're set your goals and planning to do some serious ass kicking this year because I've got some pretty big goals I set out with my boys and going to start working towards that. So um, that's kind of why I thought usually people do their goals or their New Year's resolutions. These are things they're going to do to get better. And they maybe don't take a look at what's around them that's holding them back from doing that in the first place. And one of the big things that'll really hold you back is toxic relationships. So, how do you detach from and first of all, I guess, how do you recognize, and then how do you detach from and move forward from toxic relationships? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. So, I guess to start off with we got to kind of define that. So, definition of a toxic relationship. Basically, it's an emotionally draining or harmful to your well-being relationship. Something that doesn't excite you, lift you up. Like if you're dreading getting together with somebody or doing something, that's a toxic relationship. You need to end that. A lot of times we'll have some toxic relationships in our lives we're not really aware of. You get people that will, do backhanded compliments and stuff like that. Where it's a joke, but more than anything, it's belittling you. There's jokes amongst friends, but there are lines that if they're crossing it, they might not be a friend. That might be a little too much. Ask yourself these things. This is the whole situational awareness thing, being aware of what's going on around you. So, all right, cool. Check it out. Bushkateer checking in tonight. Nice to see you. I've actually watched a few of his videos. He's got some pretty cool stuff. He's out in northern BC, Canada. Kind of cool. Right on. Good to see you on here, buddy. So anyhow, let's carry on. So what do you do? We're going to get into how you recognize them, but detaching from a toxic relationship can be challenging, but it's necessary in order to protect your mental and emotional well-being. Just being able to make positive steps and move forward and succeed in life. And being the new year, succeeding is kind of what we're about. That's what we should be doing about. And anything I'm about is always about men's mental health, being in a better place, being the best version of yourself, because the better place you are mentally, the more aggressive you'll be in life and your career and business, romantically, all of that. The better your headspace is, the better and the easier all of that is to deal with. It just is. So it's just number one. For me, it's always the top of mind thing. It's always the first thing I try to think about. So anyhow, basically a toxic relationship is just anything that's harmful or damaging to you, and can have serious negative impacts on you. And definitely as well as on your growth and your development. These are, I mean, who doesn't want to be better? Who doesn't want to, be better at work, make more money, better in business, whatever the case may be, better in relationships, better with your friends, better with everything. Who doesn't want to do that? So having toxic relationships in your life is just going to hold you back from being the best that you can be. So, you need to learn how to recognize them, which we're going to talk about, so we can learn how to axe them and cut them out and move forward in life. It's a lot better. So, recognizing some of the signs of the toxic relationships, in order to protect yourself, a toxic relationship with a family member is probably one of the most difficult ones, because you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. You're kind of born into that. However, you can decide if you're going to spend time with them, or how much time you're going to have, or the limitations or whatever they're going to have on you and your life and your well-being. And of all people, they're your family. They should understand the most. And if they don't, they're taking advantage of you the most. Think about that. If they don't respect your boundaries and they don't respect the fact that they're dragging you down, then they're the ones that are hurting you the most. And they're the ones you're going to need to cut out the most. And it's the hardest. And we'll get into that. So toxic relationships with friends, just people who are consistently negative or manipulate you, take advantage of you or other people. If you've got friends that take advantage of other people in your life, you can bet that what you might not be aware of at certain times is they're doing the same thing to you. Maybe not blatantly right in front of you, but if you see them doing it to other people in their life around them, and you don't think that there's some way and somehow they're doing it to you, you're being very naive. You need to think about that. This is the situational awareness thing. Be aware of what's going on around you. Have the eyes in the back of your head. When you get a little more experience in life, you start to realize this sort of stuff, and it really will make a drastic difference in everything for you. Your awareness just improves everything. A toxic romantic relationship, they suck. Been in a couple of these in my life. Try and avoid them as well. Avoid them, period. Get out of them if you're in one. It's one where a partner consistently mistreats you, whether it's through physical or emotional abuse. Usually for a guy, it's not physical. Sometimes it is. I've had women hit me, and they do it because a man should never hit a woman. So they do it knowing that you can't retaliate. And it gives them that opportunity to misbehave. And if they do, that's an absolute cutoff. If that happens, you turn around and walk right then. That's done, because that could get turned around and put on you, and you don't want that. The other thing with that, with the mistreating emotionally and physical, like the emotional abuse, is a partner who silent treatments you, or just manipulates you in any way, shape, or form. If your partner is doing that with you, they're not interested in you. They're interested in what you give them and the advantages you get them. And if that's what they're doing, then all you were doing is providing. You're the giver in the relationship, and they're the taker. Why would you be there? So it's sometimes hard to wrap your head around that when you're in the middle of it, but just take a look at what's going on around you, and you'll recognize this stuff. It's not hard to see. So the importance of detaching from a toxic relationship is, it's damaging and harmful. Not just to you, but it's also harmful to them. Because if you don't cut off somebody who is treating you badly, then they think it's normal. They don't know any better, or they haven't had any hard lessons taught them to them that way, and they're going to continue it. So by cutting off a toxic relationship, you're actually helping that person understand what they're doing is wrong. Maybe they won't, but that's not your problem. If they do and they recognize it, then you've helped them out. Maybe you can let them back in your life. Maybe not. That's entirely up to you. But having boundaries, and when people cross them, putting them back in their place on the other side of those boundaries, and sometimes having to sever those relationships and walk away, is actually doing them a favor. When you look at it from that standpoint, you're helping them out. You're either helping them become better or understand what they're doing is wrong. And if they don't want to fix it, that's on them. Remember, the only thing and the only person you control and the only thing you can change in the entire world is you. So if they aren't going to do it, separate them and don't worry about it. You're changing yourself by not allowing it to happen, and you're not allowing yourself to be taken advantage of, and your life is going to be better. So you're teaching them a lesson, whether they learn it or not. And quite frankly, if they don't learn it, it doesn't matter. It's not your problem, right? That's the big one. Just remember that. It's not your problem anymore when you sever it. It's no longer your issue. The great part is you get to take that big weight off your shoulders, set it down, and walk away. Life gets a lot better. So identifying some of these toxic behaviors and stuff like that, some examples is constant criticism or belittling, gaslighting or manipulation, I've had some experience with this one where, I'm constantly told them this, and this. Like, that's not who I am. But meanwhile, that's what's coming back to me. That's what gaslighting is. Emotional abuse or manipulation. I've had this in the past. Was with somebody in my life for a while who her idea of getting me to comply or whatever was silent treatment. And it took me a long time to understand this and wrap my head around it, but I finally did. Silent treatment is a form of abuse, because if they're not telling you what's wrong, they're not telling you if you've done something wrong or what the issue is, and you're struggling to try and figure it out, and they won't help you with it, that is abuse right off the bat. So in my life, for me, that is an absolute hard boundary. Anybody I meet, any girls I date, anything like that, I flat out tell them silent treatment is a hard boundary. So if you decide to silent treatment me, I sure as hell hope you've told me what you needed to, because that will be the last thing you have said. Because you do silent treatment, I'm out, gone right now. That is a zero-sum game. So that should be for everybody. Physical, sexual abuse, well, that's rather obvious. Go ahead and abuse me, baby. Lack of respect for your boundaries. Somebody who doesn't respect your boundaries and continuously crosses them, and you push them back and they say, yeah, I understand. And then they stop for a little bit, and then they come back and repeat the same process again a short time later. And repeat this process over and over, repeated behavior again and again and again. That's a toxic relationship. They don't respect your boundaries. If they don't respect your boundaries, they don't respect you. Why are you in a relationship, whether it's friendship, romantic relationship, or even in a relationship with your family, somebody, your brother, your sister, your parents? If they don't respect your boundaries, why are you dealing with them? If it's family and you have to, you the absolute minimum and no more. And that's what you have to do. Controlling behavior, that one's, that can get pretty bad. If somebody's trying to control you or manipulate you, those sorts of things, it's very bad. Isolation, silent treatment, like I talked about. Another one is refusing to take responsibility for their actions and their behaviors. This goes back to the boundaries one I was just talking about, where when somebody has crossed your boundaries and you tell them, explain to them they have, put them back, and they repeat that, that's not taking responsibility or accountability for their actions. And that's toxic. Or vice versa. They blame you because, your boundaries are too stiff, or they blame you or play the victim card or whatever on you. Somebody plays the victim card on you, let them go ahead and be a victim. Wish them well and carry on. Go away. Because no matter what, you can try and fix that. And I've been there, done this in the past. Don't play this game. Somebody tries and plays the victim card on you, and you try and defend yourself, and you try and make it all better. It never works, because they have a victim mindset. They have a victim mentality. And they're always going to be the victim. It's always going to be your fault. And you're constantly going to be trying to change your own course to suit them, which is manipulation at the end of the day. So if somebody in your life is playing the victim card with you, unless it's something you absolutely know you did, it's a toxic relationship. Let them be a victim and carry on. I have no room for victims in my life. I've been the victim of some pretty horrible shit, but I don't play the victim card. I'm a survivor. I picked up the pieces and I moved on. Knocked the hell out of me, hurt like hell, knocked into a lot of pieces, but I am not a victim. I'm a survivor. Pick up, move forward. Being a victim is a choice. And if somebody wants to be a victim, they have chosen that. Let them choose it and walk away. If you're a victim, stop choosing to be one. Because you don't have to be. A victim mindset and victim mentality is an actual mindset. I'm going to do a show on this. I'm going to figure out how to put it all together yet, but been through this a lot. So if you have that, or you're with somebody and they have this behavior, just walk the hell away, get away. You, being around somebody who's a victim all the time is so taxing. It's beyond belief. You just, it is such an energy waster. It's not even funny. So, and separating yourself from these is actually self-care. You're taking care of yourself. You're taking care of yourself, your own mentality, your mental health. You're putting yourself in a better place. Because if you allow yourself to stay in a toxic relationship, you're allowing yourself to be beat down. You're allowing yourself, your energy to be drained. You're allowing your progress to be taken away from you in everything in life. Your happiness, your productivity at work, your career, your business. Honestly, when you allow somebody to be like this and run you into a toxic relationship, it ruins everything. Your romantic life, the whole nine yards. Like if you can't be happy because there's always something wrong, or there's all this stuff, then you can never relax. And at the end of the day, that's largely what being in a toxic relationship is if you feel like you can never actually just truly relax, unwind, and be yourself, you're in a toxic relationship. It's real simple. If you can't be who you are, relax, and let the real you show, there's a reason you probably shouldn't be there. So, consequences of staying in it: unhappy. Exactly that. Can have serious negative consequences on your physical, emotional, mental well-being. Lead to feelings of worthlessness, low self-esteem, depression. Like I've said before, I fight this one all the time. I fight that dragon every single day. And allowing a toxic relationship into my life with the stuff that I deal with from my past, it just does not, I don't have the bandwidth for it. It's just not going to happen. So I don't allow it. It just doesn't happen in my life. If you're in my life, you're a positive person. There's a benefit. There's a net positive benefit for both of us. And that's the way a relationship should be. Friendship, family, lover, whatever the case may be. It's business, even like a business relationship should be positive as well. All of this stuff, you should want to be there. If you can relax, you're happy to be there, you're productive, all of that, then it's a good one. If you don't have all of that, it's absolutely toxic and you need to get out. I mean, who the hell wants to stay in a relationship that's going to make them feel worthless? Drive down your self-esteem. Hell no. You are who you are today because of the choices you make. So make better choices, better results. It's real simple. It's just a simple formula. So there's no sense being around something as negative because it takes away. So remove it, move towards the positive. Your health will be a lot better because, let's face it, being happy is good mental health. Good mental health leads to good physical health. When you're happy, you're jovial, you move around. Just this little bit of me sitting here talking, moving my hands around, having a good time, relaxing, shooting the breeze. When you're doing this stuff, you're actually physically moving. And this is all part of being happy and part of your good mental health. This just leads to better physical health. You're going to be more inclined to actually get up and do things. You're going to be inclined to get up and move and be involved socially with friends, family, blah, 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 all of that. If you're in a toxic relationship, you're going to want to hide. You're not going to want to be out there. So if you don't feel like socializing, going out, or just interacting with people, maybe you're an introvert. But either way, you'll know the difference. So you should know the difference. Like I said, if you feel any of these other signs we've talked about already, then you need to cut that out and move forward. One thing about getting rid of toxic relationships and moving forward, it gives you a lot of strength. Having the ability to walk away from something that is bad and is draining for you, when you let that weight go, there is such a sense of relief. Just everything, your happiness, mental state, your zest for life is all going to improve. Trying to think how to word this. I'm going off script, so bear with me a moment. It releases the good endorphins. It's like exercising. The happier you are, the dopamine's going to get released in your brain. You're going to be better. The ability to take a negative relationship, toxic relationship out of your life and set it off to the side and realize that this is no good for you, and you cut it out and you move forward. There is it feels like hell when you go to do it. The first time you do it, it's going to be difficult and it's going to feel like hell. You're going to feel like you're letting somebody down. But after you get out the other side and you realize that it was for the best, and it was for best for you and best for them, there is such a sense of power, because you're going to start to realize that you now have control over your life. You don't allow someone else to affect you and have that control. You have it. And when you have that power and that control, the ability to take charge of things like that, and take that negativity and put it away and walk away from it and move forward, you'll start to see paths in life where true friendship and true happiness and good relationships are. And that's where everything will grow. Your mental health, your physical health, your happiness, your career, life, everything will get better by being able to take and cut that out. That power, that strength gives you the strength to move forward and maybe you find something I've gone through here just recently. When you can take the toxic relationships and put them away, you have that strength to just take that, cut it out, and walk away. And you've got a good friend who's going through a hard time. You have the strength to help him through it because you know how to do it. You know how to guide him on the path out of that toxic area and into somewhere better. When you have the strength and the ability to do that, the power that brings to you, and the happiness to be able to give that to someone else, that is how you build true friendship and real powerful relationships. So you can't support a toxic one and build a good one. They don't work. They're the opposite. You have your choice. You've got one on one hand, you've got one on the other. What do you want? What do you want? Let that shit go. Go to the good one. That's where life gets better, man. Absolutely. So, went off script. I got to find where I am. I hate when the brain, the ADD. Yes, I can add. Sometimes I throw an H in there too. Oh yeah. Toxic relationships will involve physical and emotional abuse, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes they can result in serious injuries. Or, God forbid, you're in a toxic romantic relationship where, as a guy, I'm talking to mostly guys, I look at the demographics. There's a few women here, but as a guy, if you're in a toxic relationship and she gets angry and up and hits you or whatever, you never know when that moment you might snap. God forbid, don't do it. But every one of us has a line and a limit. And when you're in a toxic relationship with somebody from the opposite sex, they know how to push your buttons better than anybody else on the planet. And being in a toxic relationship and allowing yourself and presenting yourself to be in front of somebody that knows you that well and can push the buttons like that, you're inviting an awful lot of potential shit you just don't need to deal with. So whether it's them doing something to you or, God forbid, pushing you to that breaking point and you doing something you shouldn't do, now look at the legal consequences, the nightmare. Get labeled as that, as an abuser, spousal abuser, whatever the case may be, domestic violence charges, this sort of crap. You do not want that. So this goes back to that victim mindset thing. Like I said, you're ever with somebody who claims they're a victim, literally, as soon as they say they're a victim, it's time to go. You need to cut that stuff out, period. That's a zero-sum game. And sometimes to move out of these toxic relationships, you've got to cut hard and fast right now. And once you get to that point where you've cut a couple of them out of your life and you've understood how much growth it's given you and the power and strength it's given you, you'll learn to make those decisions very quickly. They're very, very quick decisions. It is done, and it is done now. Contact is done. It's severed. So, the steps to take for ending them, this is the hard part. This is the thing a lot of people have struggled with. I used to as well. So let's talk about the steps to take. Forgot to do that here. Let me drop the join link in the chat. I don't know if anybody wants to come in on this. There we go. And that's in the chat. Oh yeah. I didn't have that one. Yeah, codependency. Definitely. Codependency is a very brutal one. I don't have any points on that off the top of my head, but codependency is a very toxic relationship. If somebody's depending on you to take care of them, and all you do is fix the situation and fix the situation and fix the situation, that is physically and mentally and emotionally draining. It's not your responsibility. At the end of the day, unless you're a parent taking care of your children, the only person you're responsible to in the entire world is yourself first. Because here's the dirty little secret. If you don't take care of you, there isn't enough of you to take care of somebody else. Let me say that again. If you don't take care of yourself, there will not be enough of yourself left to take care of somebody else. How are you supposed to love somebody if you can't take care of them? Because you can't take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Once you can take care of yourself, you can take care of each other. It's pretty easy. At that point, like I said, have the strength to move forward and help a friend through some hard times. It's easy. Because I know how to cut it out, pick it up, and move forward. I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. So that's a mentality as well. The survival mindset is just as much of a mindset as the victim mentality. Develop it. You want to really develop it? Go out and learn some survival skills. Come hang out with me in the mountains. We'll teach you some survival skills. When you realize you can survive, it is very empowering. So anyhow, let's talk about how do you sever these things? How do you get out of it? First and foremost, GTFO. Short and simple. Sounds easy. Not quite as easy, but that is long and short of it. First step, number one step to take to get out of a toxic relationship is setting boundaries. It's the new year. You've probably set some goals for the year. good for you. I hope they're big, and I hope you challenge yourself, and I hope you reach them. So if there's anybody holding you back, or there's anything holding you back, set your boundaries. Make them clear. And do not allow anyone to cross them. Because, like I said, if you can't take care of yourself, you sure as hell can't take care of somebody else. So you got to take care of yourself first. And the number one thing for taking care of yourself is setting your boundaries, knowing your limits of what you can do and what you cannot do. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. You're better to underpromise and overdeliver on everything in life, whether it's business, relationships, friendships, all of that. Overpromising and underdelivering is failure. So don't do it. Set your boundaries, know what they are, and do not allow people to cross them. Be clear about them. Sometimes with this, people got to pull out crap that they're not good at. I did. I had to learn this one a lot. I have difficulty with communication. Just didn't talk a lot when we were kids. Our family didn't. So learning it as an adult. Learn it when you're younger. Zabby's talking to me. Being able to set your boundaries, you've got to be able to communicate them. Which means you've got to use your big boy words, your big girl words. And sometimes you're going to say some things that people aren't going to like. Doesn't matter. You got to say them anyway. So be very clear. Don't try and throw in a whole bunch of adjectives. Make it short, simple, and clear. And when somebody starts to encroach on them, make it short, simple, and clear. And they damn well better respect them. Another thing, seek support. And this comes in a variety of different ways. I know the first thing most people are going to think when they hear that, they're going to think counselor, or psychologist or blah, blah, blah. No, doesn't necessarily mean that. Seek support. I'm sure you know somebody in your life who is very strong, who has their boundaries. You probably respect this person a lot. When you're going through this and you need to make this change, go and talk to them. Because somebody who knows how to set their boundaries and keep that stuff straight, when they realize you don't and you're weak at it, and you've realized you realize it, and you're coming forward for help to get better at it, trust me, when you know it's a power, you're willing to help those people. So you want the support, you find the support of somebody who's strong and who can do this and who does do this. And don't be scared to come and tell them, look, I'm not good at this and I need help and I need to get into a better place for myself and my family and everything. And I'm looking for some guidance on this. You'll probably get it. There's no way in hell I'd turn anybody down on something like that. So that's, a big thing. Another one is have a friend that call it your safe space. I've got a friend, we call each other our safe space. We scream and yell at each other all the time. So it's literally answer the phone and, yeah, I need to vent. Oh, okay. And I know he's about to start yelling. And I do the same thing back to him when I need to let it go, when I need to yell at somebody. And we usually sit there and laugh at each other as we're doing it. But when I'm sitting there screaming and yelling at him, and he's laughing, I know he's not laughing at me. He's laughing with me with the situation. And I do the same thing for him. And literally will sit there and laugh as he's screaming and yelling and telling me stuff. Having good friends and communication, you can do stuff like this. That makes life fun. It makes it a lot easier to blow off steam and let that crap go. When you have that, then it comes down to the hardest step, which is cutting off contact. If it's bad, cut it all off. It ends, and it ends now, and it ends here. Just like I said last week before New Year's, you didn't have to wait till January 1st to start your goal. Start it right now. You're in a toxic relationship. You need to end it. End it right now. Turn the viewership off. Go and end it right now. If you're in a toxic one, you need to end it. You deserve better. We all do. So if you're in one, GTFO, cut it off. And I know it's going to be difficult. Trust me, it's for the better. It might be hard for the short term. In the long term, it'll feel fantastic. And from there, you're going to have to go straight into this one, which is practicing self-care. You got to be able to take care of yourself. You've got to be able to understand that you're going to go through a lot of emotional shit. Because generally speaking, in a toxic relationship, it is a massive support mechanism. You're really carrying somebody, and when you stop that, you feel like you're letting them down. But if it was not a toxic relationship, it was a true somebody going through a hard time that you're with that does care about you and you're helping each other through, that's an entirely different thing. You can go through periods of that and it not be toxic. But one that's like this continuously, you're going to need to be able to take care of yourself. Do some things for yourself. Go for a walk. General mental health, have a shower, have a bath, go to the gym, exercise, work out, do something to get the good endorphins going, releasing from your brain to induce some happiness. Happiness is actually a chemical reaction. So you start doing things like this where you can get these endorphins to release. They'll make you feel better. They'll help you feel better and help you get through this. Because there's times it's going to get ugly. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you're eating well. And engage in activities that make you happy, whatever that is. Go to the gym, going for a hike. It's wintertime here in Canada, going skating. Going skating makes me happy. Put me on a treadmill. You can put the gun to my head. I'll tell you to pull the trigger. I could care less. I'm not going to be a hamster on a wheel. You put skates on my feet and I will go until I've collapsed. I can't stop. I love it. Weird. I don't know. Find something you like and go and do it. Maybe it's going for coffee with a friend. Something like that. Worst case scenario, it's more than you can handle. Then maybe you need to seek professional help. Generally speaking, I think this should be a last ditch solution. You should always look to try and build yourself, build your own mental strength and your ability to take care of these things for yourself. Because this is part of life and we're all going to have it. There are times where it gets to be too much and you have to do it. Which if you do, fine. Do yourself a favor. Do not let them put you on freaking antidepressants. Stay the hell off of that shit. Trust me, been there, done that, fought that demon, got away from it. It's hard. I know I've been asked about this one before. I'm trying to put some stuff together on it because that was a long, hard battle. It took me a long time to get through that. So I can't just gloss over that talk. That one's going to be heavy. It's going to take a little bit to properly break that one down. So, like I say, anyhow, kind of sums down to the four biggest things is setting your boundaries, seeking your support from your family and friends, cutting off contact, and if the worst case scenario, getting some professional help. Once you've done this and you've cut out the toxic relationships, well, now you know what the shit is. So go towards the stuff that's not. When you remove the toxic, finding healthier relationships is going to seem challenging because you're probably going to seek it out. We tend to seek out the same thing over and over again. But when you learn to cut them out, don't fall back into another one. And when you can learn to cut them out and walk away from them, you'll recognize healthy ones and move towards them. Like I said, it's the thing where you develop the strength to be able to actually help somebody. And when you do something like that, for somebody, that will become a solid friendship. That'll be somebody that will count on you, or you can count on as well. It comes down to the old thing that everybody says, especially for men, is, for men, there's nobody coming to save you. You got to take care of yourself. On one hand, that's true. On the other hand, I think that's horse shit. It's largely true, but if you are somebody who has good values, you have very clear, very solid boundaries, and you are a good and respectable person, you won't take other people's shit and you don't give them shit for no reason, then there's no reason you can't attract and have friends like that around. And so, yeah, there might not be anybody coming to save you, but why the hell can't you build a tribe and save each other? Help each other out when you need to. At the end of the day, that is always the best way to get through. Having those positive relationships that you can go to. And when you have those, you will obviously know the difference between the good and the bad. You'll have no trouble getting rid of the bad because the good is so much better. And somebody that is there for you like that, that is a positive relationship. You need to move towards that. And you'll know how to cut the toxic ones out at that point. Like you say, going back to just kind of repeating myself at this point, move forward and heal. Find those healthy relationships. And when you develop that strength and that power to walk away from the bad and move towards the good, the one thing you'll find is the bad doesn't find you anymore, because they'll realize you're just not going to put up with it. And you generally don't attract it anymore. Since I've really learned how to do this well, it's rare that I have anybody bad come into my life anymore. Almost all of my relationships now moving forward, friendships, romantic, all of that, they're all positive. I just don't tolerate the other. It doesn't last, and I don't waste my time on it. When you don't waste your time on it, you got more time to put towards the good ones, and you build better ones, stronger ones, and everything in life is better and happier. So anyhow, off script again. Imagine that. I start blabbing. Who would have ever thought? Anyhow, yeah, move forward. Find healthy relationships. The importance of self-care. Take care of yourself. Finding and building a healthy community. That's something I talk about all the time. And it's a big thing and a big part of my life. So the conclusion is, any of the benefits of detaching from toxic relationships is true happiness. Literally, true happiness. If you don't know what that is, you probably got some of these around you. The ability to relax. When you can relax and truly be yourself, you are in positive relationships. And life is just so much easier. I pretty much do that all the time. And it's real easy to get rid of those that aren't interested. So that about winds up pretty much what I've got. The benefits, like I say, the conclusion here, wrapping up. Benefits is your physical health will be better. Your mental health will be better. Way better. And that was one of my things that I had on my goals list this year. I shared with my guys when we were having our goals talk. One of my goals is to improve my mental health, which is actually in a pretty good place, considering everything that I've gone through. And that's a goal of mine, is to improve it even more by the end of the year. I want to be as equally as far ahead at the end of this year as I was at the end of last year. And that's one hell of an improvement. And I'm looking forward to it. So, and part of that is going to be, I ain't no toxic relationships in my life. It's just not happening. Getting rid of first day at the new pair of lips, I guess. By getting rid of the toxic relationships and only going with positive relationships, it's going to... Shit, where did I have that? Oh, there it is. A sign that you're in a positive relationship and you've gotten away from a toxic relationship is people who want to see you achieve your goals. People who are supportive. And if there's any way they can, they'll help you achieve those goals. Realizing your full potential, reaching your aspirations. Those are the signs that you are in positive relationships and not in toxic relationships. Anybody who says that goals are silly and goals are stupid and have no desire to help you achieve them or laugh at you when you say you have them, that's a toxic relationship. You don't need to be in that, because anybody in my life that tells me I can't accomplish what I've got set out, my goals that I'm going to accomplish this year, they're not going to be in my life by the end of the year. I guarantee you that. So I'm going to make it. And if not, I am going to do every goddamn thing I can to get there, or as close to that as I can. And nothing's going to stop me. And my friends help me and support me. And I help and support them. And I hope to hell that they exceed all of their goals. And you should for the people that you're with as well. And if anybody in your life doesn't, get them the hell out. So, because at the end of the day, it's all about being happy. And getting rid of all these, life just gets better and gets more happy. And it's just a great place to be. Better, improved relationships with everything, with the good ones, with your friends, your family, maybe even your romantic ones. Who knows? Might be one of those this year. You never know. Might be several of those this year too. You never know. I don't really care. It happens or it doesn't happen. That's what I've got. Doesn't look like I got anybody calling in here tonight. So I guess we're going to wind down on that one. And to those guys that are in my community. So, oh yeah, I forgot to say that. Do the whole like subscribe thing. Blah, 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 blah. I'm terrible at this shit. I forget to do that. So anyway, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, share it with somebody if you think they can get something out of this. Those in my community, we're going to go hit the meeting afterwards where we can talk about a few of the things we can't talk about on here. Maybe chase some more goals. Maybe talk about some crappy relationships and tell some stories, because I'm sure we all got some as part of life. Run through the comments. Would I got anything here that I haven't seen? Yeah, I understand that. Oh yeah, that's a good one. You cannot take time back, so you need to do stuff for yourself. That's exactly right. I missed that one. I don't know. That came in a while ago. Thank you for that, by the way. And check it out. Female viewer. Gotta like that. Yeah, you're 100% right, Amber. You cannot take time back. So don't waste time in a toxic relationship. Somebody sent me a link, and I haven't had a chance to even go get it, look at it yet. It's something about 4,000 weeks, which if you do the math on it is the average lifespan of North American male, adult, whatever, is 78 years or something like that, is 4,000 weeks. How many weeks are you going to waste on a toxic relationship? Think about that. You've only got 4,000. Sounds like a lot. It's really not. Especially when you consider the first, 1,000 are spent growing up and understanding who you are, if that, of your person. So you're down to 3,000. You're going to spend probably 500 to 700 of those as an old person not being able to do very much. Have I hit you with the math yet? It leaves you about 1,500 good weeks out of 4,000. So it wasn't quite so many, was it? How many do you want to waste? Stop wasting your weeks. Cut out the toxic relationships. Go find the good ones and have good weeks. And I'll see you next week. Damn, the button.